Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you woke up genuinely excited about your day? If you're over 65, society often tries to convince you that your best years are behind you, that joy shrinks with age, that energy fades, and that each new sunrise is just another step towards slowing down. But what if I told you that's not just wrong, it's completely backwards? In fact, some of the most radiant, fulfilled, and genuinely happy women I know are well into their 70s and beyond. And no, they didn't win the lottery, and they're not hiding some magical anti-aging serum. What they do have is something far more powerful: 12 simple daily habits that keep them emotionally strong, mentally sharp, and spiritually light. These aren't extreme routines or expensive solutions. They're real, down-to-earth practices, grounded in both wisdom and science, that women over 70 use to stay vibrant and full of purpose. In this video, you'll discover how these small habits can transform your days, from the moment you open your eyes in the morning to the peaceful breath you take before sleep. And here's the best part: it's never too late to begin. Whether you're 66 or 86, these habits can help you fall in love with your life again, one day at a time. So if you've ever felt like the spark is fading, or you're just going through the motions, this is your invitation to rediscover joy in the simplest ways. Grab a cup of tea, settle in, and stay with me, because by the end of this video, you just might feel a whole lot lighter and a whole lot more alive. 1. They start the day with a morning ritual. One of the most powerful habits happy women over 70 share is this: they begin their day intentionally, not by scrolling the news or jumping into chores, but by giving themselves a few quiet minutes to center. This doesn't mean waking up at 5 a.m. or following some elaborate wellness routine. It can be as simple as sitting by the window with a warm mug of coffee, stretching your arms while breathing deeply, or whispering a short prayer of gratitude for one more morning. What matters is the tone it sets. A calming ritual, even just 3 to 5 minutes, can reduce anxiety, anchor your emotions, and remind you that each day is a fresh beginning, not a burden. Studies have shown that starting your day with mindful intention improves mood, focus, and even physical health. It offers something deeply valuable at this stage of life: a sense of control and presence. So tomorrow, instead of rushing, try this. Light a candle, say a kind word to yourself, or listen to the bird song outside your window. However small it seems, it can ripple through your entire day like sunlight through a curtain. This isn't about doing more, it's about beginning with meaning. 2. They get fresh air. Every day. There's something quietly powerful about stepping outside, even for just a few minutes. The happiest women over 70 know this, and they make it a daily priority to breathe in fresh air and reconnect with the natural world. You don't need to hike a trail or garden for hours. Simply opening your front door, sitting on the porch with a blanket, or standing by an open window can do wonders. It's about presence, not performance. Research shows that exposure to natural light, especially in the morning, boosts serotonin, a brain chemical that helps regulate mood and energy. It also encourages better sleep patterns and strengthens your immune system. Even just 10 to 15 minutes a day can reduce feelings of fatigue or anxiety. Personally, I find that when I step outside with my tea, watch the trees sway, or feel the breeze on my face, it lifts something inside me. It reminds me that I'm part of the world, not just watching it from behind a screen. If you've been cooped up lately, start small. Crack a window, take a few deep breaths. Let nature remind you you're still here, still breathing, and that in itself is a beautiful reason to smile. 3. They stay curious and keep learning. Happy women in their 70s and beyond have something in common. They never stop being curious. They don't view aging as a time to shut down, but rather as an invitation to tune in to new ideas, new skills, and new ways of seeing the world. You don't need to enroll in a college course or master a new language unless you want to. Lifelong learning can be as simple as reading an article about something you've never considered, watching a documentary, or asking your grandchild how their favorite app works. Why does this matter? Because curiosity keeps the brain active. Studies show that continued learning helps reduce cognitive decline, sharpen memory, and improve emotional well-being. It also makes life feel bigger, more connected, and far less routine. Personally, I started exploring watercolor tutorials online at age 72, and I've never looked at color the same way again. That small spark led to hours of joy I didn't expect. So ask yourself, what's one thing you'd like to know more about today? Then follow that spark, because curiosity isn't just for the young, it's one of the best ways to stay young at heart. 4. They dress with intention for themselves. One of the most quietly empowering habits among joyful women over 70 is this. They dress for themselves. Not to impress neighbors, not for social media, but as an act of self-respect and care. This doesn't mean putting on pearls every day, though if that lifts your spirit, go for it. It means choosing clothes that reflect how you want to feel that day. Maybe it's cozy and soft. Maybe it's bright and cheerful. The key is, you're dressing with intention, not obligation. Science supports this too. There's something called in-clothes cognition, which suggests that what we wear influences our confidence, our mood, and even how we carry ourselves. When you put on something that makes you feel good, your posture changes, your energy shifts. I have a floral scarf I wear on days when I feel a little low. No one else may see it, but I do, and it lifts me. So tomorrow, before you reach for the same old sweater, pause and ask yourself, how do I want to feel today? Then let your outfit reflect that, because getting dressed isn't just a routine. It's a small celebration of the fact that you're still here, still you, and still shining. 5. They limit complaining. One of the quiet strengths of happy women over 70 is their ability to shift focus. They've learned that constantly talking about what's wrong only amplifies frustration, while choosing to notice what's right brings peace. Let's be honest, aging isn't always easy. Aches, losses, and changes are real. But the women who seem to glow with calmness aren't living perfect lives. They've simply made a conscious decision. Not every irritation needs a voice. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about choosing what's worth your energy. Research shows that dwelling on the negative can increase stress and even weaken your immune system, while practicing gratitude lightens the emotional load. Years ago, I caught myself starting every call with complaints. Then a dear friend said, "I miss hearing you talk about your garden." That one sentence changed me. Now I pause before I speak and ask, is this helping me grow or just keeping me stuck? Try this. Next time you feel the urge to vent, shift your attention to something small but good. A blooming flower, a kind gesture, a warm cup of coffee. Because limiting complaints isn't about silence, it's about making more room for joy. 6. They move their body every day. Happy women over 70 don't chase fitness fads or try to match younger folks at the gym. Instead, they embrace a simple truth. Movement is medicine, especially as we age. This doesn't mean lifting weights or running marathons. It means respecting your body enough to keep it in motion. A slow walk around the block, gentle stretching in the living room, or dancing while you do the dishes, all of it counts. Why is this so powerful? Because daily movement keeps joints flexible, boosts circulation, improves balance, and strengthens the heart. But even more than that, it reminds you that your body is still capable, and that's a gift. There are mornings when I feel stiff and tempted to skip it, but I've found that even 10 minutes of gentle movement completely shifts my mood. I feel more alive, more present, and even more optimistic. The key isn't perfection, it's consistency. Start where you are. Walk to the mailbox. Do leg lifts from a chair. Circle your arms slowly while listening to music. Because every small movement is a message to your body. I'm still here, and I still care. And when your body feels alive, your spirit often follows. 7. They connect with others daily. Loneliness can sneak in quietly as we grow older, even if we're surrounded by people. But the happiest women over 70 make it a daily practice to reach out and connect, no matter how small the gesture. It doesn't have to be a long phone call or a big gathering. A quick text to a friend, a wave to a neighbor, or even a warm good morning to the mail carrier can create meaningful moments of connection. It's the habit of staying open to others that makes all the difference. Studies have linked social interaction in older adults to lower risks of memory loss, depression, and even heart disease. But beyond the science, it simply feels good to know someone sees you and that you're still part of the world around you. For me, I've started sending short voice messages to an old friend every morning. Sometimes it's a prayer, sometimes just a funny thought. But it reminds us both that we're not alone. So today, consider reaching out, even if it's just a smile at the grocery store. Because when we nurture connection with others, we also nourish something deep within ourselves, the joy of belonging. 8. They eat intentionally. Happy women over 70 don't just eat to fill time or quiet hunger. They treat meals as moments of nourishment and mindfulness. It's not about dieting or counting every calorie. It's about being present with your food and making choices that support how you want to feel. As we age, our bodies naturally change. Metabolism slows, digestion can get tricky, and we may need more nutrients to support bone health, brain function, and energy. That's why intentional eating, choosing colorful vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and whole grains can make such a big difference. But just as important as what you eat is how you eat. Slowing down, chewing thoroughly, and appreciating each bite can improve digestion and even reduce overeating. It turns eating into a peaceful ritual instead of a rushed routine. For example, I've started putting my fork down between bites and sipping water before every meal. It helps me stay grounded, and it reminds me to savor life, not just the food on my plate. So the next time you sit down to eat, try turning off the TV, taking a deep breath, and letting your meal nourish more than your body. Let it feed your spirit too. 9. They nourish their spirit. True happiness in later life isn't just about staying physically active or socially connected. It also comes from nurturing your inner world. The most joyful women over 70 make time each day to care for their spirit, in whatever form feels meaningful to them. For some, this means prayer or quiet meditation. For others, it might be journaling, sitting by a window in silence, listening to uplifting music, or spending a few minutes in nature. What matters is intentional stillness. A moment to reflect, center yourself, and reconnect with something deeper. Studies have shown that maintaining a sense of spiritual connection, whether religious or simply personal, can improve emotional resilience, reduce stress, and even enhance physical health. It offers a kind of quiet strength that helps us weather life's storms with grace. Personally, I start each morning with a few minutes of stillness, tea in hand, just breathing and listening. No phone, no noise, just me and the moment. If you've never tried it, begin small. 1 minute of peace, a verse you love, a sunset you sit with fully. These moments don't just calm us, they fill us, because a nourished spirit lights up everything else we do. 10. They practice forgiveness daily. Forgiveness isn't just a kind gesture, it's a form of freedom. Happy women over 70 understand this deeply. They've learned that holding on to resentment, anger, or regret only weighs them down and steals joy from the present moment. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't hurt. It means choosing peace over pain. And most importantly, it's something we do for ourselves, not necessarily for the other person. Research shows that regular forgiveness reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and improves emotional well-being. But beyond the science, it simply feels lighter to let go. Personally, I started a quiet practice. Each morning I say to myself, I forgive you and I forgive them. Some days it's harder than others, but over time I've noticed that I carry fewer burdens and more compassion. Forgiveness can start small. Maybe it's releasing frustration with yourself for past decisions, or letting go of an old grudge that no longer serves you. The key isn't perfection, it's the willingness to soften just a little each day. Because the more we practice forgiveness, the more room we make in our hearts for peace, clarity, and genuine happiness in the life we still get to live. 11. They laugh on purpose. Laughter isn't just a reaction, it's a choice. The happiest women over 70 don't wait for joy to show up. They create it. One of their secret weapons? They laugh intentionally every single day. Science has shown us that laughter lowers stress hormones, boosts immunity, and releases endorphins, the body's natural feel-good chemicals. But beyond the biology, laughter reminds us that life isn't only serious. There's still lightness to be found, even in the messiest moments. I've found that even on difficult days, watching a silly comedy from the 80s, sharing a childhood story with my granddaughter, or reading a comic strip can shift my mood instantly. It's like flipping on a light in a dark room. You don't need to be the life of the party to embrace this. Watch a stand-up clip, call a friend who always makes you giggle, or smile at your own reflection when you're feeling grumpy. It works. Laughter is ageless, it's free, and it brings people closer together. So don't underestimate the power of a good chuckle, because every time you choose to laugh, on purpose, you invite more joy, more energy, and more connection into your day. And that's something worth smiling about. 12. They end the day with gratitude. Before the lights go out and the world quiets down, happy women over 70 take a few moments to reflect, not on what went wrong, but on what went right. They've discovered that closing the day with gratitude gently rewires the mind for peace, not worry. This habit doesn't require a journal or a fancy ritual. It's simply pausing to notice. What warmed my heart today? What small moment felt good? A smile from a stranger, a favorite song on the radio, a warm blanket at just the right time. Studies show that regularly practicing gratitude improves sleep quality, reduces anxiety, and increases overall life satisfaction, especially in older adults. But beyond the data, it creates a kind of quiet joy that lingers through the night. I like to think of it as tucking my heart in before I tuck in my body. Sometimes I jot down 3 things I'm thankful for. Other times I whisper them silently before I close my eyes. It's a gentle way of saying, today mattered. I was here. And even in the small things, there was beauty. Because when you end the day with gratitude, you begin the next one with hope. So, what do all these daily habits have in common? They're not flashy, they're not expensive, and they don't require you to reinvent your life. What they do offer is a steady rhythm, small, meaningful actions that add up to something powerful. A life rich in joy, presence, and purpose. Being over 70 doesn't mean fading into the background. In fact, this chapter of life can be one of the most fulfilling if we choose to show up with intention. Whether it's taking a slow morning to yourself, going for a short walk, or sending a kind word to a friend, you're not just passing the time, you're shaping your days, one mindful moment at a time. Happiness at this stage isn't about chasing perfection. It's about honoring where you are and making small, consistent choices that lift your spirit and nourish your well-being. You don't have to do all 12 habits at once. Start with one. Pick the one that calls to you most, maybe laughter, maybe gratitude, maybe movement, and let it guide you forward. And if this message resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it. There are so many women out there who deserve to feel seen, inspired, and reminded that life isn't over. It's evolving. So, leave a comment below and tell me, which habit are you ready to embrace tomorrow? Thank you for spending this time with me. Here's to waking up with intention, ending with gratitude, and making every day a little more beautiful, no matter your age. You're not just older, you're wiser, stronger, and still becoming.